the secret of Discord's ownership is that I set it up and it's just a bunch of strings that are held kind of tight so that they vibrate when you talk through them.
Is that profitable?
I mean, it's profitable enough to offset the string.
Current cost of string.
I'm gonna run the numbers.
Between $2 and $10 per string.
Yeah.
I mean, wait, is that the case? How much is a ball of yarn? Because I think I could technically make a lot of strings out of that.
Well, if it's $2 to $10 per string, I just get one really long string. Done. $10.
I'm getting a lot of different answers here because these bass strings are 45. I think those are euros. And then I'm getting instructions on how to minimum cost to construct a string in what appears to be C++. So we're getting a lot of different answers here. I'm gonna split the difference. This guy said it's $110, so that's how much it costs to run Discord, I'm assuming.
And I have to pay how much a month for Nitro?
Well, I've got to replace the string quite frequently.
Okay.
Is that what Nitro covers? How do you get them across the ocean?
If you get Nitro, I get a better kind of string, and then some poles to hold the string up above the water so that it doesn't get wet.
See, now this is interesting. None of these are specifying the length of the string, so I'm forced
saying.
to assume a single string that is 300 miles long is still $10.
Yeah, exactly. Connecting, you over in the United States to me in the UK, $10. It's a $10 string.
This is that string theory I'm always hearing about. Oh, did the string that was supposed to bring America the news about your dancing monkey not come over? Is that why we don't know who he is? Everyone has to be aware.
Oh my god!
You don't. Look, I'm gonna be honest. You don't need to know who Robbie Williams is, but here's my point of contention here. Americans are acting like, why would we go see this film? We don't know who Robbie Williams is. As if America isn't constantly exporting media about people the rest of the world has no idea about. And we see it anyway because we are, curious. We want to learn about people we don't know about already. We'll investigate new media, unlike apparently America.
Don't get it twisted. I saw the British Monkey movie day one. I was the only one in the theater, but I was hella curious.
The monkey is the only thing that had me interested.
Austin, what did you think of that 5-minute period that went from rock concert to multiverse battle to suicide on a lake?
I thought it was very visually inventive, and I wish that's how Johnny Cash's Walk the Line would have ended.
I'm sorry, does this monkey kill himself? What's happening now?
There's 5 minutes of film that I didn't expect the multiverse battle in the middle, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, it does some interesting things. I'm trying to think of what would be a fun, obscure, Florida celebrity we can make a movie where he's played by an alligator. And then send that over to you.
Yeah, and we would watch it, and we wouldn't complain that we don't know who he is. We'd go, time to watch a film about an American celebrity who's a gator.
Austin, are you suggesting a Kid Rock movie where he's played by a gator?
Yeah, something like that. That's a great question. Laura, do you know who Kid Rock is?
I've heard of the name. I know nothing about Kid Rock. But you know what? I wouldn't make a series of TikToks going, I don't even know who Kid Rock is. Why would we watch this over here? I go... What's this? I'll watch it. You see?
That would be perfect. The movie would be called Ball Diddy Ball.
I think you could make a very compelling movie about Eugene Melville, the guy that owned Action Park in New Jersey.
I know about that one. I know about Action Park.
Because our culture's the best one.
No, because we watch shit about your culture.
Because it's the best one.
Traction Park is a mess.
Yeah, I watched a documentary about that on YouTube.
It's fucking terrifying.
That's my people right there. We're shocking you with exposed wires in our pools. We're having hundreds of people almost drown every day. It's great. We love it here.
Lose all your teeth in the loop-de-loop coaster slide.
Okay, we're about to start the podcast. I just want to say real quick, Kid Rock, of course, famously from Michigan, not Florida. Bob Ross. Do you know who that is, Laura?
Yeah. Again, we consume a lot of American media. We know about him and his happy little trees.
Okay, now if he was played by perhaps a large squirrel, would you find that delightful?
I would find that very delightful, as long as the cinema would have the lights on just enough that I could bring a piece of paper and an easel in and try and do painting of the happy little trees while the film's happening.
I'm into it. Oh, we got to find which celebrity we best performed by a CGI dragon as we enter this episode of season 12. See, segues. I can do my job. I'm Austin Yorsky, DM. You know who I am. You don't need me to tell you my inventory right now, which is, of course, a notebook, a pen, and a plush Snorlax. I can be found at everywhere. Patreon.com/Austin Yorsky. Blue Sky, Austin Yorsky, probably some other sites too. Letterboxd is probably the thing I actually use most these days because of the choices I've made in life. But I'm very easy to find. Just a single dollar to support the show and get bonus pods like Spewpunk, where we have conversations like these, very stupid pop culture film discussions. That's me, and I'm joined by three of my best friends who are pretending to be dragons.
Yeah, my name is Quinn. Christopher Lee, by the way, I think would be a good choice to be played by a CGI dragon in his documentary. My name is Quinn. I play DiCaprio Devereaux, but in my time not playing the Sun Elf Wizard, you could find me doing a manga podcast at Weekly Manga Recap. You could find that basically anywhere, but the podcasts are on YouTube, Spotify, all those places, Blue Sky. I think we might have a Pornhub account. I'm not 100% positive, but if you could try searching for it there, I'd be curious what comes up. And I have several items this season. I have my zipper rack that I use to change costumes, my Gucci sunglasses, emphasis on the goo, my Dyson sphering. I have the astrolabe. I don't know. This is kind of like a background thing that may end up doing something, may not. I'm just going to, I guess, keep it in here for now. And then... do I describe my new item now, or does that come up in our downtime?
That's going to come up in the downtime. Yes, this is a downtime episode. Very important. I want to discuss some things about that momentarily. But before this comment no longer makes sense, I do want to say I was going to type Weekly Manga Recap into Pornhub to see what would come up. And it is, of course, blocked in Florida. Pornography no longer legal here. So...
Well, really? For your reference, it is the first result is Nico Robin cosplay from One Piece jerk-off game, Red Light, Green Light.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad Robin's getting some work.
And whatever the fuck this is, I'm just gonna spoil this. You feel free to describe it if you want to.
No more posting pornography in the work chat. This is a huge problem.
Gosh.
It's season 9. Okay, thank you, Dan. I wish I didn't have eyes. Delete message, report message, blocked, removed from chat, sending the SWAT team. So yes, this is a downtime. This season we're doing something a little unique, which is instead of downtime basically being all in the same day or like in the same hour as they sometimes are, to emphasize the longevity of dragons. Each downtime is going to take place over an increasingly long period of time. So the first one was weeks during the bicentennial celebration. This one's going to be months, and then perhaps later years, decades, centuries. And then eventually the season will be over when we reach some sort of point where we can look back at how far you've come. That's my idea, at least. Maybe one of you will do something that throws that out the window, but that's the idea at this point.
I'm going to send my character back in time so she can start ungaining these years and stay beautiful forever.
Yeah, but you're all young adults, so this is a coming of age story. So that's what I'm going for here.
This is like Lady Bird. Austin, why didn't you tell me this is the Lady Bird season?
I was going to throw you out of the car first.
She throws herself out of the car. Thank you very much. Spoilers for the first 15 minutes of Lady Bird.
You've also ruined my guest for next episode, Timothy Chalamet. He was so excited to be on.
Well,
does he play the car?
Laura, introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Laura. I'm playing Doc Hop, the Dragonborn warlock that's collecting little doodads, things that the small folk have left behind that, some might call trash. I would say well-loved cultural artifacts. I currently have in my collection of magical objects a trash bag of holding, an out-of-date pop-up book of goblin history, a spooky magic blue bottle that contains a genie, a lucky plush rabbit's foot, a child's first trading card deck of no synergy, and a Vinarol's disc. Also, in terms of celebrities that should have a film about them where they're played by a CGI dragon, I for some reason went to Eddie Murphy, and he should be played by a CGI dragon that looks like Mushu from Milan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, is that just subconsciously because he was famously a CGI dragon?
No, it's we make him do, it's the life story of Eddie Murphy, but it's Mushu, and we don't acknowledge that it's Mushu.
Is it bad my brain, instead of going to Mushu, went to the dragon from Shrek, and I was like, oh, does he just kind of always have, like, a thing for dragons, like, in and out of character?
He loves dragons, yeah. Benedict Cumberbatch plays the bad dragon.
It's good casting. That's great casting already.
Also, out of curiosity, if you search Dice Funk on Pornhub, you get dancing naked, moving the ass for you.
I feel like I'm being mocked now. Everyone's like, Austin, we can still access pornography. We live in normal places, which aren't Christo-fascists. Well, look at us.
Hi there, I'm Dan. You can find me not really anywhere online, but I will be at Adepticon this year. So if you sense my presence, or you catch a glimpse of what my fiance lovingly refers to as the autism jacket, you'll know it when you see it. Feel free to say hi, I guess, if you happen to be there. Man, when this comes out, I will have probably already gone, so this was a pointless advertisement. Anyway, I'm playing Rex Maximus, Red Dragon, etc., etc. You've all heard that part before. Here's the list of the items I currently have. I got my Ring of the King. I got my little bandolier of fangs that lets me summon a familiar. I believe that's actually it. Hold on. At least for the time being. Unless I'm missing something in my notes.
Because you had a run-in with one of the siblings, I believe.
Yes, they attempted to steal my ring, and then I kicked the shit out of them until they gave it back.
Yeah, I have here your childhood anvil on my list.
Of course, yes. I'm thinking of the things that are probably going to have a mechanical impact until I Looney Tune someone at some point.
Some point. You gotta keep saying it, though, so it doesn't feel like you pulled it out of nowhere when you bonk someone to death with it.
That's true. And we have unlocked a new item for this downtime, but I guess we'll get to that shortly.
That is what we're doing here today. So, before we break out into our individual downtime scenes where you tell me about your small folk, lair, and new item, that's kind of the things you've been doing over the months, do we want to have a family scene of the three of you interacting anywhere in particular?
Dairy Queen.
No.
Okay, the Frost Giant quick.
It's going to be a fantasy one. It's Fairy Queen.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
oh, we're hanging out in the Feywild. Okay.
That's fun. Okay, so you're all getting delicious treats. I mean, this makes me feel like I'm obligated. I do have the treat dragon. One of the very important characters this season is Andronicus, the celestial dragon, whose horde is flavors. So maybe you're all at the Fairy Queen holding out some hope you're going to find him. So maybe is he here to meet you? What do you think?
Are we so I know Rex and DiCaprio, the last recording, we're discussing the fact like Daddy Dearest is getting older and Andronicus is the next one in line. Are we trying to scope him out? Do we all have conspicuous sunglasses on and trench coats?
I think I want to say that DiCaprio already has some level of an existing relationship with this character. I think this is someone she has intentionally kind of been sucking up to in many ways.
I think this is a hide in plain sight situation. Like, you don't need a sneaky excuse to go be in the Candy Kingdom. It's full of sweet treats. Why would you not be there?
Sure, I bet their economy is booming, though, because Andronicus' whole thing is that he's always flying around trying to find new ingredients. He's never staying put for once. He's very, visible compared to a lot of dragons who are kind of isolationist. This is how your home has come to be known as the Cookie Mountains, because everyone sees this big feathered dragon, arms laden with treats, flying hither and yon. So if you're at the Fairy Queen, perhaps some enchanted frosty grove where pixies are serving you, I guess, different fey desserts, and the three of you are hanging out there.
I mean, the first one's obvious. It's pixie sticks.
Okay. One of you is wearing sunglasses for scouting. I think you probably can see, if there's a kitchen area here, if there's a part of this delightful fey glen where the food is being made, you just hear someone say, "You fucking donkey! Get back here! Look at the mess you've made. You've got to clean this up."
Oh, this is uncouth. I don't like them yelling at the person in front of us. They should do that back behind the wall where you can't hear anything. It's all about appearances, you know.
Rex has almost not even noticed this is happening because he keeps trying to buy the ice cream, right? And then it keeps melting every time he picks it up.
Oh yeah, you are a red dragon. I thought you were gonna say these are Turkish fairies, and they keep pulling the ice cream away every time you go to grab it.
Doing fucking mage hands so they've got extra hands in which to do the trick.
I would imagine they're doing that to small folk. I feel like with dragons, that's a quick way to get flambéed.
Yeah.
But yeah, why don't you all roll perception to scope out the situation at the Fairy Queen?
We using the big boy sheets?
Sure. Downtimes are big boy times.
4. I'm high on pixie sticks. I'm distracted.
21.
Crit 24?
Good lord. Okay, 21 and a crit passes. With the crit, I will tell you anything you want to know here. What are you thinking specifically, Devereaux DiCaprio? You're entitled to full ocular sit rep.
I'd like to think that there's like a familiarity I have with this place because I want to say, and you can tell me what you think about this, Austin. One of the ways I think DiCaprio kind of sucks up to what is it, Andronicus?
Andronicus, yeah.
Andronicus. I think, she makes it so her small folk, very frequently really don't have any issues, can kind of just pursue their own passions sort of thing. So I imagine she very frequently sends some of her chefs here to like show off their best dishes for this dragon of flavor, essentially. So very somewhat similar to what she was offering to do with Humdrum. Like she just sends sort of the best of her people who are in this line. So she's somewhat familiar with this area.
This is important, though, because you said you've been sucking up to him, so we were establishing this. I need to write this down because this might be important coming up. I'm going to put a picture of. I wasn't planning on introducing Andronicus today, but you crit, so you can see him. He is a white and gold dragon with large feathered wings, more like a bird than a reptile.
I would never say this out loud, definitely not around Dad, but I do look at this dragon and go, yeah, this seems like a dragon that would be in charge.
He's got cum gutters.
He does have literally angels in his lineage. Some dragons are out there fucking some angels. He is enormous physically when he's in his full splendor, and he is much while he is, ancient by many standards, noticeably much sprier than your kind of crusty acid father as he runs around the kitchen back there.
This really has the look of how I was always taught to think about Satan, which was like, fallen angel, it would be a sight to behold, evil as all fuck, but glorious to look at.
So you all have seen this guy a number of times. We're establishing at least DiCaprio's relationship with him. I think while he's in the Enchanted Glen, he takes the form of maybe I'm trying to think of the Fae and Celestial overlap. Probably unicorn, correct?
Yeah,
probably.
Wow, Dan had some fucking miniatures ready to go. What are these?
That's the I think what's the word? Loyalty reward from Loot Studios for a celestial dragon and a Dracolich.
This is exactly the kind of stuff I'm going for right now. The other one, a creature I've been thinking about introducing into Dice Funk for years now, and I keep chickening out, is the Key Rin. Are you aware of this creature?
Yep. You can fight it in Monster Hunter.
It is. I'm almost certainly mispronouncing it. One of the many reasons I keep chickening out. It's from Chinese mythology. It's a kind of like
a horse unicorn.
A horse thing, right? Unicorn, deer, dragon.
Oh, this thing. Yeah.
But yeah, this is probably actually what I think he should be in this scene. But I'm gonna fuck up the name, and everyone's gonna get on my butt about it.
He turns into Krillin.
He's got no nose. He's bald.
They're making a biopic about Krillin, but he's played by a dragon for some reason with a dragon with cum gutters. No one knows why.
Whoa!
But yeah, he's back there and he's saying, 15 minutes and then you have to flip it. You're burning it. And he's just like screaming at these pixies.
Oh wait, so that's him. That's Andronicus being the.
Yes.
The Gordon Ramsay. Okay, I thought this was just like another Gordon Ramsay member. Like there was like an angel Gordon Ramsay. In that case, I don't want to say anything negative, and I want to establish what my character is wearing. She is definitely looking extremely good. In particular, she is wearing this like very flowing dress that has like draconic like pauldrons to it. Essentially,
Wow.
I want there to be a slight element that she is here to try to impress him with her looks. Essentially, just kind of walking around like this is very much like, oh, someone dressed up today. Dan is, I guess, saying he is showing up in an ice cream cone costume.
Oh no, not not the Lickums Corporation.
Rex was dressed by DiCaprio for this. He doesn't really understand. He just assumes it's a cultural thing.
I mean, I think Doc has turned up in very, very colourful colours like tie-dyes and whatnot because it's a land of treats. You gotta fit in. Colourful, sweets everywhere. It's camouflage.
With your crit, I will add Quinn here that while he has an exacting standard, he's obviously has a bit of a temper. You can tell that he's really passionate about the art of food and wants to bring out the best in everyone, and seems to be here specifically to share like arcane secret magic, draconic cooking techniques with these fae. Even if he does have a brusque manner about him.
It's gonna be real fucked up if he's like a Hannibal type guy at some point.
Do I think it would be inappropriate to like chat with him up there? Like he's like, I'm at work, don't bother me kind of energy.
Yeah, I think right now this is the family scene of the three of you talking, and him in the background is more of his introduction because we're going to be seeing a lot of him this season. There's no need to rush.
Then, yes, I want to make it like abundantly clear that it's like, DiCaprio is not here trying to look good to be like, if he fancies me, like, that's pretty good,
Rex will like look to Hop as he's given up on trying to like eat this as a regular ice cream. He's just drinking like melted soup at this point. And he'll turn to Hop and go, "Have you used your other wishes yet?"
No, I haven't yet. The first one honestly didn't go as bad as I expected. But it was a good reminder of, even if I'm careful with it, it's gonna be tricky.
You could always just threaten her by using a wish to make her life worse.
Well, yeah, but like, how do I word it in such a way that she doesn't like twist it to be actually good for her?
I don't know. I think there's not many ways you can twist "I wish your skin was inside out."
I don't know. Okay, but the inside of my skin is more outside of my skin. There you go. Oh, nothing changed. I don't know. I'm trying to be in the headspace.
You're gambling with forces that honestly shouldn't be tampered with. The genie's whole thing is making a way to make you regret these wishes.
I am well aware, and I recognize that the fact that the first one didn't go worse is a miracle and not a sign I should keep going. But you were both in danger, and it did not feel like I had time to learn how to fight a ghost. I don't know if they're eatable, punchable. I've not had much experience with ghosts.
All of the above.
You can eat a ghost.
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you?
Have you eaten a lot of them?
You've seen where I grew up, right?
Does that just end the curse? Can you eat a ghost inside of a curse to get rid of it?
It doesn't. Look, was I haunted for a little bit? Yes. Did I occasionally cough up a few screaming souls? Of course. Who hasn't?
I was gonna say, DiCaprio, I think, is gonna like kind of whisper to Hop, like, he says he was haunted, but we both know he was just being dramatic, right?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Oh, hey, I've got a thought. Hop is going to cast Foresight on Rex, and then go, hey, I did some magic. Maybe you can see a way to eat the ice cream without it melting now. Have a look in the future. Is there a way that it works?
What do I have to roll for this, Austin?
I think Foresight just lets you replace rolls by the mechanics of the game, so...
Mechanically, yes. You can see the immediate future is the flavor.
Yeah, this is more of just a role-playing choice.
Yeah, role-playing choice. Is there any future in which you find a way not to melt the ice cream?
Well, I think this is just sort of a law of like thermodynamics. Here is the problem.
I don't know. Like, is there like a really cold straw you could slurp it up through?
A gigantic dragon-sized straw.
Yeah.
I mean, a gigantic dragon lives here, so this is the place that would probably have them.
We can make a big straw for you.
Yeah, Rex is now ordering a what is it? A frost giant blizzard. They turned it upside down. The head falls out of it or whatever. He's eating a sundae out of the skeleton of a frost giant. I think it's probably what's happening now.
Oh, that's
There
good
you go.
though. Yeah.
Problem solved.
Magical solutions. Quinn, you just said a giant dragon lives here. Are we thinking this is the domain of the Fae that he is visiting, or are you saying that this is his lair?
I forgot if we're actually in his domain or if this is just part of the Feywild still, because I realized I don't actually know in our cosmology what the Feywild is anymore.
Yeah, the Feywild is not a separate dimension anymore. This is just part of Arabella, and there's a place where the Fae can live, or some of them at least. So that's what I'm imagining, is that you've all flown over here to get some treats.
If he is the the dragon of flavor, right? Is his like lair and home area just like a bunch of Michelin star restaurants and eateries?
Well, we're gonna find out sooner rather than later. I'll say that much.
Oh boy. I think DiCaprio is going to like occasionally be distracted looking in, trying to get glimpses of him. Like she's every so often, she's like, do you think he's noticed? Do you think he's seen that we're here?
Hop is not as quiet as she thinks she is when she goes, No, I don't think he's noticed you looking at him yet.
With a crit, I'll add that while you're peeking through the the gaps in the tree cover here in the glen, you can see he does have a variety of magical items that he's using in his art, such as a magic cheese grater, a magic flour sifter, a magic corkscrew, a magic frying pan, and a magic spatula.
I kind of want one of those.
I want the spatula. Is he like really politically active as like the second oldest dragon around?
That'd be a history check.
Okie dokie. What do we have for that? It's a 5. Okay. 22.
Wow, very good. I would say he's notably not. He spends little time in the Cookie Mountains, mostly seems to be flying around the world looking for new ingredients, techniques, and magic cooking items. So, I would say he's probably like one of his defining features is not caring about the kind of stuff that your dad cares about.
Mm-hmm. So potentially not even really a good fit to take over this leadership role if he's like completely disinterested in it.
But he is the second oldest dragon, which means he's one of the strongest dragons. I think that's what DiCaprio is thinking right now. Is she's like, even if he doesn't seem interested, being connected or like an ally of the second strongest dragon seems very good if the first strongest dragon has something happen to them.
To me, that says one of us needs to learn how to time travel so that we can become the oldest dragon.
Couldn't you wish him younger?
This is every season's solution.
Ooh.
Why don't we just invent a time machine? Come on, Austin, what do I roll to invent a time machine?
Hey, you let it happen like once.
They'll never stop haunting me.
Couldn't you, just like craft a wish to make him younger or us older with none of the drawbacks?
Again, none of the drawbacks is like... That suggests we know how to word a wish well enough to not leave a single possible loophole. I don't trust us.
You're the one here with the doctorate.
Yeah, in cultural studies, not in how to deceive a genie into not being a bitch.
Go study a really litigious culture.
Yeah, but small folklore isn't nearly this loopholey. they follow the rules, relatively speaking. Like, usually they just try and say something confidently to get around the rules, rather than, like, actually having a plan to circumvent them.
Most dragon laws do have a clause, which is if I can incinerate you and everyone you care about with my mighty breath, I win, which doesn't really come up in goblin law.
Do we know anyone whose small folk is primarily composed of lawyers?
Is there a law dragon, Austin?
Not yet, but I'm thinking about it. My self-insert. Yeah, my name is
Yes.
Yostin Orsky. I love scrolls.
I'm a big cool dragon who collects nerd scrolls.
Yeah, Yostin Orsky, let me spend an entire downtime scene running every possible wish past you until we find one that's bulletproof.
Look, if I wasn't playing an idiot, I would do that.
Maybe we could do a side quest to find Yostin Orsky, his mighty, powerful law brain. Do the three of you have anything else you want to say before we break out into the downtime scenes?
Yeah, I think DiCaprio is going to kind of look to Rex and Hop and just be like, were there any thoughts on how the last sort of assignment went?
I think we really probably didn't need to get rid of that magical healing device. Felt more like a political move than anything else.
You wanted it to be duplicated?
Oh, I just don't think it was important enough to matter. But you think I'm gonna say that to Enobarbus after we wrecked his fucking house?
I do actually think it would have been hilarious if we'd wrecked his whole place and then you had said your stuff isn't important enough to care about. That would have been pretty good.
I mean, what do you think would happen if you did say it to Enobarbus? If you just came out and said, we destroyed it and we don't really care what your opinion was?
Isn't that the sort of thing that you always tell me not to do because I'll be making enemies and they'll kill you in your sleep?
Well, yes, that's what I'm trying to have you avoid, but do you consider what you'll do when you attain a certain level of decorum, I shall say, or status?
I guess I'm gonna need to sleep lighter.
Just sleep in shifts. Have a sleeping buddy, someone to watch your back while you sleep, or learn to do what the little I forget what the little ones with the feathers do, where they sleep with half of their head at once, and then the other half sleeps. They got half their head awake at any time.
Are you talking about birds?
No, it's a specific one. What are they called? Ducks. The ducks do it.
I've never heard of these small folk before.
Yeah, they're not particularly talkative, but they can sleep in, like, only half their brain at a time, and that's fascinating.
How many empires have they led?
That's what the law dragon has as a small folk, is just an army of Bill Webbs. Insane ducks.
I will have to look into this. I may be missing some things from my collection.
But that's it. Nobody else is concerned with the way things went or anything. We all think it went well.
I think it went pretty well, all things considered. I think we had, bumps occurred, but we got in. We got into the center. We found the items to be able to do the assessment. We all got out without any harm. I think it was a fairly clean one.
DiCaprio's kind of like quietly keeping to herself that she's like, I did feel like I kind of almost died there for a moment, but she's just going to kind of like mentally keep that one to herself and just be like, well, then I guess Hop will lead us on the next adventure quite well then.
Look, I'm sorry I was a jerk about and ended up leading that one. Like, I said as much, but I felt like you were both being jerks. I wanted to prove that I could, like, not screw it up. But, like, I don't like the dynamic that this is made. I just wanted you both to see that I was, didn't always suck at stuff?
Perhaps I have been negligent, Hop, in letting you know how talented and capable I think you are. It is just that I am more talented and capable than you, and I hope you know that eternally and all the time.
Okay, yeah. No, yes, I understand. Look, I can live with.
And I apologize if I have perhaps not been valuing the interests you choose to have. Have you collected new trash recently?
I have some very useful and practical trash that I recognize as trash.
You both have skills and abilities that I do not have, that I am now acknowledging are things that are true. So good job. That said, you both have glass jaws.
No, that's fair. Rex, you are strong as fuck, and I'm sorry I got you in trouble with Dad, and I'm sorry that the thing I thought to say to cover up to try and get us out of trouble was mean to you in a way that I recognize kind of spiraled through that mission. Sorry about that. You're great, and I could never beat you in a fight, and I know that.
I think actually when Hop says that, like, he's appreciating part of this statement, but when Hop starts talking about strength, there is probably something behind Rex's eyes that's bordering on irritation. Once Hop pulled that, like, magical card that has made her roughly as physically strong as he is, he does seem to be a little bit irritated about this fact. He is fully aware that he is a better fighter than her. He does not like the idea that she is now, through sheer luck, as physically strong as he is.
She has physical strength. She does not know how to throw a punch. If she tried to throw a punch, I think she'd break her own fingers, like, doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, yeah, she's a loaded gun with no idea how to pull the trigger.
Yeah, I think internally Rex now has like this problem where he's like, okay, I'm not gonna beat them in a game of wits, but at least if it came down to it, like in a slugfest, he is physically stronger. Now this is starting to come into question for him a little bit.
I forgot about Jack. Top. Just Dr. Muscles over here.
Because she is actually stronger than him as a small folk, which is irritating to him to no end.
Oh yeah, because I'm 20 strength in small form too. Yeah.
Yeah, did we want to discuss if you're going to keep pulling cards from that? Do you even know what they all do?
I don't know what they all do, and I recognize that it is a gamble. The situation was you were down, and I didn't have a lot of resources on hand to help with the situation, and I thought my best bet was take a gamble on something that might save the day versus continue to be in not a great position to help. I wouldn't want to rely on it, but given the situation, I don't think I was going to have a better opportunity to make sure you were okay than taking a gamble.
You're taking a lot of gambles right now, Hop.
I am.
Do take care of yourself.
I know. I recognize that Russian roulette is not a game you can play indefinitely.
This is a universe in which Russia refers to something else. Don't worry
about it. Blush and bluelet.
That's where Yostinorsky is from.
What if you wear a helmet?
How dangerous are the bullets?
What if you were a jellyfish? you can't shoot a jellyfish, right?
I don't know, can't you?
Do you mean morally or physically?
I mean, the bullet would just go through, right? They're mostly gelatin.
Well, that means you shot it.
I mean, we're mostly water, aren't we? You can
Does
still
Dad
shoot
have any
us.
jellyfish he doesn't care about?
I lost my gun, you understand, though.
I feel like the scene fades out on the three of you talking about jellyfish for some reason, and then we're gonna move into the individual downtime scenes here. So the way this works is over the months that you're have between the main missions here. Remember, there's no time pressure for the GLADYS Accords inspections. It's just whenever you feel like it, basically, because you're in charge, you know? However long that takes, tell me about any updates with your lair, any new items you got for your horde. I gave everyone one specifically, and let me know who you want to talk to so our audience can see that scene.
Yeah, so DiCaprio is going to be working a lot, I think, during this, like, period of, like, months passing. Like, I think on one end, she's going to give the astrolabe over to, like, some people, like, whatever, like, the scientists within her community are all about, and kind of, like, ask them to, like, examine this. Like, find out what this does, essentially, because maybe there's, like, something to it we haven't figured out. And if nothing else, then maybe this is a waste of time, but she wants to be certain, essentially. So she's going to put her top men on that, basically. And I think she just is like adding, to her portfolio all the time. She has new little outfits every so often. And then once a new look is established, she'll immediately display it in the museum and allow people to get their own versions of it and all these sorts of things. She's very much still in continuing her career to kind of make herself known. But she also is going to need to talk to, I forget her name, Lady Falconbridge, I think it's called.
Yes, so we've established you have two X's who we're going to use to explore contrasting types of toxic Yuri, I believe was our stated goal. And one of them you have called for. Lady Falconbridge is kind of your social equal, for a fellow fancy striver person, and you have called on her.
Yes.
For talk about a dark ritual. So she will show up momentarily.
Yes. Beforehand, I imagine she's like getting ready for this. And when she gets ready, she frequently gets ready with her assistant / personal tailor, Lace. So she uses that time to just kind of vent about things, I imagine. So she's probably, because this is mostly what she thinks about, venting about her siblings. And she's just kind of like going through the motions of just like, honestly, it's impossible to get either of them to really get what's going on. I wish I was them. It must be nice to be able to be so kind of ignorant of everything going on.
So Lace, the Dragonborn, probably bringing you tea. You're standing in the museum looking at, the latest exhibit you put up. You're looking at it from different angles, making sure the light is correct on it. And Lace walks up and says, should I send a gift or some sort of acknowledgement to Optimus vis-a-vis saving your life?
So she hears Hop and she's like, the thing with Hop is I really should be sending them my blood pressure on a chart so they can see it. She has got a genie she's just casually making wishes with. Not casually, but like making wishes with. And just a deck that who knows what can come out of it. And she's drawing. And she says there's no other option. And she's doing it for us. But she's just doing things she doesn't know the consequences of. And I feel like no one in this family is thinking about that.
Would you like me to allocate resources to anti-genie strategies?
Yes. I don't imagine she's going to, so someone should. And while we're looking out for it, can we have somebody keep an eye on Rex? I don't think he's doing well either. I think he's frustrated from last mission and he's not thinking straight. He's not ready to accept that Dad's, well.
Lace has like a little notebook she writing all this stuff down in, and hesitates before writing like spy on Rex question mark, because that feels like a big commitment, and they're gonna double check that's what you meant.
She's going to look by and she's like, not spy on Rex, just he has his small folk situation is looking bad. He needs stronger influence. So maybe if there's somebody in the kingdom who's interested in warfare or something, we can send them by and just see if Rex will take them. He needs to look better. He's not making a good display of himself right now.
Understood. Anti-genie tech, small folk recruitment, Lay says, underlining the missions, and looks like they've finished delivering their report, and says, Lady Falconbridge should be here shortly. Should I let her in, or does she know the way?
Yeah, I think DiCaprio's going to kind of like pause for a moment, and she's just going to I assume she has like a drink at this point, like a wine glass or something. And she's just going to kind of be like, whisper under her breath, I'll do everything to protect them. Oh, yes, Lady Falconbridge knows the way, I believe. She's been here before. And she says that kind of like a little smugly.
Understood. I'll take my leave then. But Lace hesitates for a moment and then just says, one more thing, actually. I have this for you. And they present a small, plainly wrapped box.
I think DiCaprio is going to kind of take it and say, oh, you don't have to get me anything. Your service is all I require. I'm not going to say no to something that's beautiful, but what's the occasion, Lace?
Just more service, ma'am. What's the pronouns for Lace? Is she, her?
I think they, she.
Okay. They curtsy and like leave the room because they don't want to have the embarrassment of watching you open the gift.
Then yeah, I will kind of smile. Like I'm going to pick up on that. Because I would know DiCaprio is in her human form as a sap. She actually spends a lot of time in her human form.
Elf.
Elf form, sorry. Yeah. I say human as the shorthand for not dragon.
It's almost like all of us are humans.
Yeah, when you think about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Dan's actually a goblin. I did meet him at a convention. She's going to kind of like smile, wait, and then she is going to open up this gift.
All right, tell the audience about your new magic item.
Yeah, so Austin thought it would be interesting if Lace got me this. It is basically a perfume that I could spritz to cast the spell Major Illusion, because DiCaprio is very specifically an illusionist specialty wizard, but there's not as many opportunities to show that when we're at level 20, because shit's real. So usually you need like a gun at that point. But this will be a way for me to cast Major Illusion and to be able to play with what my character's flavor is supposed to be a lot.
Yeah, my thought was that it basically, once you spray it on yourself, it lets you tap into your actual magic that is somewhat hidden while you are small. But it's like still all your magic.
Yes. I imagine she is going to give this like a test first and kind of see, like, not like in a like, what is this? She's just curious kind of way, like do a test, smell in the air, and then if it's good, she's like, I'll wear it right now. But I think if she gets the sense that there's something magical in it, she's going to do it and like actually use that Major Illusion to just kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just like give herself more of like a very like notable air right now. She's just like almost like adds like a sparkle to her skin or something like that just makes her seem like more like pop even more than she already does.
You're turning up all the sexiness sliders in the character creator.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I don't want to say it like that, but yeah, pretty much. She's basically like going like full Bishonen character at this point. Bishojo, I guess.
We briefly mentioned that, you're a diamond dragon. Your scales are somewhat cloudy compared to your mother, who has like the flawless, like perfect one. So you're kind of constantly fiddling with your sliders. This is like important characterization, I think.
Yes, she is always working to make sure her form is to her liking, let's say. I hesitate to use the word perfect, even though I'm sure perfection is like a subconscious thing for her, but she always wants to look at her absolute best.
I was going to ask you to roll to see if you hear Lady Falconbridge's approach, but this is your lair. I think you have an innate sense. It would be very unusual if someone could enter without you feeling it at all. So now is when this character enters. This is the first time we've seen Lady Falconbridge on screen. It's interesting you note that you're an elf right now, because I was going to say one of her defining characteristics, one of the things I think makes her unique among dragons, is she actually doesn't like to be in her full draconic form. She finds it gauche to constantly be broadcasting your full power. So the person who enters this wing of the museum where you are appears to be a tiefling, the Dungeons and Dragons race, which is a kind of fiendish humanoid with long horns. She has a kind of icy blue skin, and she is dressed up just as, if not fancier than you. This is, I think, maybe a conflict in your relationship, is the fanciness contest.
Yeah, no, I think there's like a certain element there, but I want to establish that like DiCaprio is going to like meet this woman with like a very powerful sort of smile. This is someone she has a familiarity with, and I think she's just gonna give off like a very casual air upon meeting her, and just be like, "Oh, darling, you're looking incredible."
I know, D. I always am.
Well, you're very smart about that. Hopefully it wasn't too bad of a trip here. We always try to keep things looking lovely when you come by.
Oh, you cleaned up for me. Is that what this is?
I made sure that, a couple corners were a little bit more polished than they usually are. Of course, you're such a guest here.
Now, Austin is, of course, extremely ignorant of high fashion, but let's say my layman's understanding is that there are different schools of thought, different styles. Are you more of an avant-garde, like Lady Gaga meat dress person, or a kind of like classic high society, austere fashion? Because whichever one you're not, she's the opposite.
I want this woman to get to wear meat dresses. So I think DiCaprio, while she every so often does do a very avant-garde idea, that throws out there, most of her looks are more classical, are just like very like well put together dresses and things like that, just very elegant. And this woman maybe just goes a little further than she does sometimes.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because Lady Falconbridge, as a tiefling, implies some fiendish heritage. So I was thinking the outfit incorporates, real skulls, maybe some spikes, tasteful spikes,
Okay, yeah.
But she says, this is from the latest Chain Devil Fall collection. The screams are actually embedded in the seams. We're calling them scream seams.
Oh, that's quite marvelous. Does it really like reflect the light well in the anguish, or how do you really work it in the room?
She gives you a little demonstration, sashaying about playfully.
Austin, what do I roll to kind of give like a little flirtatious laugh and then like touch on the shoulder, like a way to like, we're exes. Like, this is way too much, but I am trying to like rekindle some of that feeling that we have in a mean way.
I'm so curious how toxic we could go. I think that's a charisma saving throw.
Charisma saving throw, not a performance.
Okay, I could go with performance.
Or not performance. Why did I say that, Quinn? Persuasion.
Nope, it's a performance.
Well, hold on. You're performing. You're a lie, basically. You're trying to manipulate them.
All right, I am going to use my Gucci glasses to give me proficiency in this then.
Okie dokie.
21.
Wow. Yeah, Lady Falconbridge says, "Where did you get those glasses? Are they made from real goo?"
They're part of the collection, darling. There's facsimiles if you would like them. We always try to present them as best we can, but there's just something dazzling about the originals,
There's so many knockoff goo glasses out these days. People using slimes, unguents, tinctures. I anything but the real goo is beneath both of us, obviously.
Obviously. You know I wouldn't put anything out here that I wasn't willing to put my personal stamp of approval on.
Yes, which is why I was surprised to hear you ask for assistance, somewhat unlike you.
Really? Have I come off that way? Well, it's tough being at top, always trying to work at the absolute pinnacle, gets stressful sometimes. You need to take loads off.
You usually try to make people think it's their idea to help you, instead of sending your little lizards to ask for favors.
Oh. This one is not as pliable as I was thinking they might be. All right.
You got a 21.
Well,
She's playing in the space with you.
All right. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Well, I wanted to make it a personal gesture, It's not like you're just anybody.
Yes, so you thought I would work for free then?
Of course not, darling, but, I just also was excited to see you.
You flatterer. So what, do you want me to kill a family of fairy dragons? Is this your romantic idea of a reunion?
You don't think there's a little romance in that?
I would say it's second date material where my dad's from, but not so much over here.
Well, darling, you are the one currently dressed in skulls, so I don't know if I was expecting to get a morality lesson from you.
Well, these are designer skulls. They're not common dirt skulls.
Sewn together with pure anguish, you said.
Suffering and misery, yes.
Yeah. Well, I would love to see something like that as well. I've been having an issue with a certain dragon, and she says that with heavy air quotes, siblings that crossed me, and I don't allow that. You understand.
Of course. The Cymbeline siblings vex us all. I've seen them about quite a number of times. They haven't taken anything from me. My succubi and incubi have a system for protecting my hoard. Why did they get something?
DiCaprio's going to kind of sigh and just say, I don't like people trying to take from me. It's a precaution I need to have. You understand. We're all part of this game. You dabble in many of the same courts that I do.
I remember your jealousy very well.
It's not jealousy. It's a protectiveness. We've been over this.
Oh, yeah? You're going to get into this one again?
She says that while kind of sipping. She's like, please, we don't have to get into this again.
Or we could. Do you have somewhere to be?
Okay, Austin, I have to make an important question to you. How likely is this character to get into messy fight sex with me?
Oh my god. Quinn,
is that an inside check?
Yeah, that's why we roll the dice.
All right. I don't think I have a great insight. No, I don't know. This might just be a move we're gonna have to try.
That's why it ended last time, because your insight score was so bad.
20.
Oh Christ! I would say this is a BioWare game. You need to get the friendship meter up, and then maybe at the end, you're not banging her here.
All right, yeah. DiCaprio's gonna kind of look and be like, "Well, you agreed to come here, so I assume there was something you were kind of interested in as well."
Yes, I do find myself in a position where I could use a little assistance, so perhaps we could help each other out. You're always very generous.
I try to be. She gives a little, what's the smirk emoji called? Just like a little smirk, sly eyes kind of thing.
So you want the true name of a Cymbeline sibling, to draw them out, and then to do. I would like to hear it in your words.
I'm believing some kind of ritual where we can get all of them at once into a cursed item. Something probably from my collection that I would love to see kind of emblazoned with the beauty of genocide.
All of them at once. This is much bigger of an ask than I was Expecting? I believe I can get you one true name.
Are you sure you can't do a little bit better?
It's possible, but see, my
I want to like have like a hand on her, like on her shoulder. Like I want to be initiating a lot of physical contact here.
I'm sorry, I must interject for one moment because it's extremely funny to me. Starting this season, Quinn reading off her character sheet, lawful good. 8 episodes in, the beauty of genocide.
This is one personal genocide to her, okay?
I will say you put a hand on her. She is noticeably cold, like temperature-wise, not personality, although slightly personality as well. So you know this is someone who uses a lot of ice magic, ice breath as a dragon, things of that nature. That's also your breath type as a diamond dragon. Just something to note there. She says, well, my price will be much higher for every additional true name, but maybe you'll want to hear what the cost of one is before you commit to the whole family.
Sure, I would be happy to hear it. What can I do for you, darling? Actually, would I have a nickname for her? What can I do for you, Snowflake?
Oh, that's cute.
Oh.
Well, Dee, in the circles I move in, acquiring items once owned by celebrities, famous movers and shakers, it helps to know powerful, well-connected people. And I'm afraid that you burglarizing your mother has closed that door somewhat firmly for me. And this is suboptimal. And it would really mean a lot if you would make up with her.
Do you want me to help you, like, invade a country? Have you ever thought about taking over the forest biome, you know? Just pop over there, just burn everything, roll it like a queen? I'd help you.
That's sweet. I have looked into that. They don't really have much that I want. But your mother does have a collection of really perfect items, once owned by perfect people. And some of them would look quite nice in my fortress.
It's typical, you know? You come here and you bring up my mother immediately?
Was it immediately? I thought we danced first.
Sure, you can dance all you want, but it always comes back to this. You know that's not something I'm going to do, okay? So why bring it up?
Because it's been years? I thought maybe you'd grown a little.
It's not about growing, you know, it's about not being treated like I was a person for years. I'm my own individual now. I want nothing to do with her. Aren't we at a perfect thing now? We're not at war. There's no issue. We have gone our separate ways.
You're your own person, but the only reason we're not at war is because your father in the GLADYS Accords.
And we're doing what we can to uphold the Accords, so...
We? I believe you are collecting dresses and scarves and shawls. What do you mean, we?
I'm trying to think what item can I like comically like shatter for a second in my hand.
Have you fallen out of favor, Dee?
Of course not. There's a lot of plates to spin, you understand.
No, I don't. I have people to spin them for me.
So what do you want? Do you want me to talk to her or what?
Yes, I would like to be able to deal with all the members of high society, even ones related to my past. She looks you up and down.
DiCaprio's just gonna kind of like sigh, and like a very like draconic sigh. Like, it's, normally talking, but in that moment, you're like, oh, yes, this is actually a dragon with, like, a very guttural voice that is actually here. And she's just going to kind of say, I'll consider it. But the sibling that you take, I want it to be the one who has an amphora. Understood? I will accept nothing else.
An acceptable counteroffer. What a shrewd negotiator.
We had good times, right?
All of my times are good times, D.
Well, aren't you busy? Don't you have something to go do?
Apparently, I need to go find the name of a tiny creature who's stolen your vase. Do I need to prepare the magical item infusion as well, or do you have other X's for that? How is Viola these days?
I think DiCaprio's just gonna kind of straighten up and just be like, wouldn't know, darling. Too busy going around the world collecting dresses. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have important matters to get to, so you can see yourself out. You've been here before. You've done this walk before.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what she even says. Like, I'm sure you've already forgotten her. It's fine. And she is a chilly wind carries her away. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you're probably the only person who knows her full draconic form. That is like something she keeps pretty quiet. So that, yeah, she could leave in a bigger huff, but she is a tiefling until she disappears from your view.
Yeah. I think DiCaprio is just gonna kind of like, I hate to like go to drinking as the answer, but I'm like, she definitely does something to like stress relieve at this point. And I don't know if it's like turning into like a big dragon and releasing it somewhere. Like if she like goes to like a deserted mountainside and just like breathes a giant crystalline breath into a mountainside or something like that. But she goes somewhere to get her draconic rage out. She doesn't like being talked down to that way.
Would that be like if your sibling comes out and you see them eating like a cake at 3 a.m? Yeah. Rex finally catches DiCaprio enacting physical violence herself. Oh, I knew it.
Quinn eating olives over the sink.
Whoa! Hey, you're not supposed to tell people about that.
Sorry. So I think an interesting dynamic there is that Lady Falconbridge is older than you and probably like wealthier, more powerful, and your other ex is less so. So I think part of the subtext there, which probably will become text later, is that like she's like, "How's your like rat girlfriend? How's your greasy loser?" Like that's that was like the thing she was getting at there as a parting shot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because it's worth noting that that's one toxic Yuri, definitely, that I think they're engaged in. I imagine there's a different kind with her other ex.
That's what I'm excited to find out. There's so many flavors, just like Fairy Queen.
Fairy Queen, all the flavors of dragon, toxic Yuri.
Rex may be a fuckboy. At least he's not getting into stuff like that.
How funny would it be if this became another ice cream centric season? We have to stop before it goes too far. Laura.
Ah, it's me. I gotta do one of these now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back. So yeah, I want to start by giving some setup to what my new magic item for this downtime is going to be, and I think the context for this is, funny enough, we brought up the Cymbeline siblings who haven't yet attempted to steal anything from Hop, but the possibility is there. Now, if you ask Hop, she's not going to admit the reality that it's probably because her hoard is trash. That no attempt has been made to steal from it. But regardless, she wants some kind of security system, some sort of method in place to make sure no one's stealing her premium trash. So she has been digging through all the various objects that could be found, and has come across how do I describe the magical object I have found this damn time? Do you remember in, like, I'm gonna say, like, 1998 to 2003, TV adverts for, like, children's quote-unquote spy kits?
Uh-huh.
That would be like, here's a thing you hold up to the wall and you'll definitely be able to, like, hear through the door through a microphone and it goes up on your ear, and all those kind of, like, tacky spy gadgets. One of them was the category of, like, the thing you used to be like, oh, if your sister goes in your bedroom while you're not there, the door opening will break the line of the laser and a little light will start flashing on a plastic thing and tell you something went through the laser, someone went in your room.
Dan has posted the spy tracker system, mobile early warning system.
Right,
I've played with some of these back in the day. I didn't have them, but my much more fiscally well-off friend did.
Yeah, no, I did not have them either, but specifically we are looking at the spy tracker, spy gear, mobile early warning system. Here is a laser line that is alerting us a cheap little plastic sensor. It's the magic equivalent of this that Hop is setting up all around her horde as a magical early warning system. And what that mechanically does is it's going to be giving Hop alert, which is a cool feat out of the player's handbook. Hop now can't be surprised while conscious, gains +5 to initiative, and other creatures don't gain advantage on attack rolls against Hop as a result of being unseen. Hop is just very ready to fight and very aware of everything.
This is such an interesting character building thing, because eventually a sibling would have tried to steal from you. I mean, they still might, but like that was a thing that's clearly being set up as a recurring element, and making in character preparations is really good. I think that's something that like normal D&D is like, okay, this level I can attack twice now. It's like, what is that contextually? What have I learned?
Exactly. Yeah, so flavor-wise, this is about defending the Horde, but in practice, this is an attempt at creating some sort of way to prevent Cymbeline attacks, so that's one less thing that Hop's got to deal with, but also just being a little more hyper-vigilant. You got to be aware of threats. Can't be being snuck on by vengeful ghosts again.
Yeah, at least in a certain, because you live in a large valley full of trash and goblins, so you have set up your kids' spy kits at like the entrances to the valleys maybe, but the Cookie Mountains are pretty large, so we'll see what the Cymbeline siblings are up to. What have you been up to? Remember, this is going to take place over months, so feel free to get into any details that could occur between the big kind of heists.
Yeah. So, before getting into, like, the scene I've got planned, like, I want to paint a bit of a picture of how things have been going with Hop's small folk community, and Hop trying to shepherd that a little bit in a direction. And I think the thing that over the last few months she's been trying to do is clean up the image of her horde. Not necessarily change the fundamental aspect of what it is. Like, it is about sifting through and sorting trash and trying to find the hidden gems from it. But when that is all said and done, there is a lot of, like, trash left over. So I think Hop has been trying to put together some sort of, like, recycling program for the stuff that isn't magically interesting horde material. Basically trying to work out, is there some way to process and just have less trash left over at the end of the day once we found the good trash.
Absolutely. Do you think there's a role that could represent this? I mean, you do have truly destructive acidic breath, so I think you could get rid of trash kind of at your whim. But as far as recycling it into something else usable, do you have an idea for that?
I think this is more in terms of, like, trying to encourage the small folk to reuse rather than me just disintegrating the stuff. So what would this be? I'm having a look through stats.
I was thinking nature, because you need to know like the properties of things to know what could be done with them, if
Yeah,
they're toxic and so forth.
nature's not a bad pull. It's not a great stat, but
Yeah, everyone in this episode is getting hit with their worst stats.
14.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I would say that you could probably do the most of the reclamation and usage of stuff. Maybe there's some complicated or strange objects that you don't know what to do with, but 14 is above average, so you probably can make some progress here.
Maybe there's a bit of a pile that's like, if you don't know how to do anything about this, just leave it, and it will get melted. Don't worry about it. We don't want to be using the melt it pile, but
Dan posted someone wearing armor made out of Cheetos packaging. So with the caption, "Hops honor guard after starting a recycling focus." So all the goblins can be wearing different branded items now.
yeah, look, you can make some pretty good like Red Bull can armor,
When you say that there's just a whole thing of melted trash slime around your home now, it really does remind me of my hometown. This is sending me back.
Yeah, I do like the idea because this is a post-apocalyptic season, but so there's like goblins dressed in like McDonald's uniforms. Some of them are wearing like sports jerseys. I don't know. It's just something. There's something there. That's kind of a new aesthetic.
Yeah, it's even if it's not going perfectly yet. This is at least in part wanting a slightly more respectable look for the whole place. Just to be like, just because my horde is trash doesn't mean I have to live like my horde is trash.
Okay, Dan, you can do the honors of describing this one.
So it's a classic ultramarine space marine from the Warhammer 40k series. However, it is made entirely out of Modelo boxes.
Yeah, this is. Listen, the post-apocalypse wasn't considered synonymous with like fetish gear until George Miller's Mad Max, right? That made that aesthetic idea. There's no reason we can't come up with our own thing where people are walking around and being like, "I'm the Bushlight warlord, fear me."
Oh, I really hope that my small folk horde includes the Bushlight warlord.
Yeah, I think that's what we're doing with your goblins. They live in like an idealistic hobbit village in this valley, but they're all completely donned in the strange detritus of the old world.
For the audience, the Cheeto Samurai, I believe, is a person I follow on TikTok who goes by the name Flaming Hot Hashira.
Okay. Oh wow. There's an infinite number of silly goofs in the background, I guess. Any scene set in Hop's lair, you just have to assume there's some kind of really silly goblin in the background wearing an outrageous outfit.
Exactly. But in terms of like characters that I want Hop to be spending some time with during this downtime, it's funny that there was mention of Hop not really doing anything about the whole genie situation, because that's exactly what Hop intends to do something about during this downtime.
All right, so paint me the picture of where you're gonna have a conversation with Gertrude, the steam genie. I'm trying to find the funniest uniform she could be wearing in this. Is she just stealing valor? Is she just in like a Navy SEAL uniform or something? What's funnier than that? Hot Topic? What's a Hot Topic uniform look like?
I wanted to say, what's a Hot Topic uniform look like? A Jack Skellington hoodie was my answer.
Foot Locker employee.
Yeah. Oh, she doesn't have feet. She's just like a steaming like cyclone, like from the waist down. So it would be funny if she was wearing a Foot Locker uniform. The Gap.
They're just two fucking shoes caught in the cyclone. Just kind of rocking around.
I searched Hot Topic uniform and it's only giving me Sailor Moon like the schoolgirl outfits. I don't know why that is.
But yeah, in terms of where to have this conversation, I think Hop has built out a little, like, I'm picturing this as, like, the equivalent of, like, an office meeting room, but it is made out of trash. This is the cardboard box fort equivalent of, like, the boardroom for we got it booked out for a meeting this afternoon.
Okay, so yeah, it's like a corporate office, but everything's made out of cardboard. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, it's barely standing up, but like it gives it exists to suggest that the room has a purpose.
No, I like that. It's like you've gone to the business factory. Laura, do they have
Yeah.
Foot Lockers in the UK? It just occurs to me that may not mean anything.
No,
to
but
you.
I'm assuming it's just a shoe store.
It is a shoe store, yeah, but no, they're dressed like football referees.
Okay, I gotta look up. Locker out.
Sorry, this is very funny.
Oh, I see. Yeah, why are they just like sport people?
So that you know they have high performance shoes for all your sports needs.
I mean, yeah, people who don't dress like the thing they sell usually.
You say that at Chick-fil-A they're not all dressed as chickens?
Yeah, I don't go to what's an American one? Walmart, and they're dressed like bananas because they work on the produce aisle.
That would really
But
improve.
the world would be better.
Yeah, that would enhance me.
Austin brought it up as a joke, but they do sometimes have someone dressed as a cow at Chick-fil-A because that's the mascot of Chick-fil-A is a cow.
And not a chicken.
No, because the joke is that the cow is trying to get you to eat less cow and more chicken to save them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dark. Okay, yeah. Gertrude enters the cardboard business factory dressed as a Foot Locker employee. She found an ancient uniform. She has the hat on. She's ready to go. Yes, you need some TPS reports, Master?
Oh, hey.
Hey, I actually didn't go far from you because you do have the bottle, and I can't get that far from the bottle, so I was just over there while you were practicing this speech.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna pretend that you weren't here when I was practicing this whole thing, right? That cool with you?
Yeah, you could wish that I didn't hear you if you
No,
want.
I'm not gonna do that. I would far rather just be embarrassed knowing that you heard it. So we're just gonna live with that. I've been. You're probably aware I've been resisting doing any wishes for like months now. With all of the you attempting me constantly to get me to wish for things.
Sure, it's going to be pretty hard to beat the longest record I ever saw because there was a guy, he got hit in the head and he couldn't really form sentences anymore, so I waited for like 100 years before he died.
Yeah. So...
Yes, I know what you're asking. I did twist the wish that landed the thing on his head. God, you're so...
Yeah, I know. Look.
You're always needling me.
No. Okay. I'm just going to ask it. Is there a rule that says that you can't be wished free?
No, that's our number one thing. That's the classico. She does the Italian hand gesture. It's the classico. You release me, please.
Yeah. And no one's ever done it.
No. She like looks at you as like, is that a trick question?
No,
I'm extremely bottled.
No.
Hop.
I know that's a stupid question, but I mean, like, how many times have you gone through this?
Oh, time is so long. Dozens?
I'm trying to work out how to ask this to get a sincere answer out of you.
Good luck. I've seen a number of people go insane trying.
I know, and this is why I've been practicing the whole thing so much.
I tend to drive each person insane in a unique way to their psychological profile, which is fun. You never know exactly how it's going to manifest.
Is there a reason that people don't let you go other than them just being greedy?
Who's to know the secrets of the mind? You know, I assume that everyone says, well, I'll use my third wish on the release of the genie, but then they think of a third thing they want. Most people want more than 3 things. That's like a kind of foundational truth I've found, is people usually want like 7 to 8 things total. So 3 wishes just doesn't really cut it.
Well, have you ever had this conversation with someone before? Have you gotten to this point with anyone?
Yeah, many times. And that's usually the second wish is the one where I plant the seeds of their destruction. And then the third wish, they are apologetic. Oh, I just need this one thing. I promise I'll figure out some other way to free you. And then it's like, I've already put the bugs inside of them. So, you know.
I'm just gonna be open with you.
Yeah, what kind of bugs do you want to eat from the inside?
I don't think I should make a second wish, because I know how this goes, and I know... My fear is that if I make a sincere second wish, you are going to twist it back in a way that makes me use the third wish trying to undo it, and inevitably not managing to undo it, and, like, not only am I, like, ruining... I'm just going to dig myself deeper into a hole. But I meant it when I said I would... If I was going to use these wishes, I was going to use the last one to let you go. And I don't think I can trust you not to use the second wish... to fulfill the second wish in a way that is designed to make me want to use the third wish to try and undo it.
Yeah, everybody means it when they say it. And you can't trust me, so good instincts there. She straightens all your clothes with steam while you're talking, just with a wave of her hand.
So I'm just gonna cut to the end point. I wish you were free.
Oh, I'm really excited for the rest of the sentence. I bet it's a really good punchline.
No, that's the wish.
Zone of Truth?
Yeah, you can cast it if you want.
Yeah, she's a very powerful magic user. Cast Zone of Truth.
I wish you were free. End of wish.
She's absolutely flabbergasted. She loves to talk shit and just simply can't find the words. She thinks this is a trick, like, no, there's going to be some kind of magical loophole, something's going on.
There is no trick. If I thought I could use the second wish in a way that wouldn't fuck me over and do the whole spiral of me using up the third wish, trying to undo the second wish and never letting you go, I don't think I can do it. So I'm gonna be honest and do the thing that I said. Just use the second wish to let you go, because that means the first wish basically fixed someone I didn't mean to kill in the first place. Second wish, you go. I've done the wishes thing, and nothing bad happened to me, and that sounds like I'm getting off better than most people.
Do you have the blue bottle on your person?
I do, yeah.
Okay, if you pull it out, I think you can see like magical cracks begin to form on it as it is like deconstructed and crumbles like into sand and blows away in the wind. If you in fact did use the wish to free her, the binding spell is destroyed. Yeah,
I let her go on wish 2. And then I hold my breath for a second to see if somehow wishing for her to be freed somehow was twisted to fuck me over regardless.
Yeah, no, there is a long beat of uncomfortable silence as she says, I had so many ideas for how to twist your wishes. That's just months of work down the drain.
And you really didn't find a way to make me regret wishing you free. This is why I practiced this so much. I really thought you were gonna, I thought it was gonna be, I wish you free, but for me to be free, someone else has to go in the bottle, I'm trapped in the bottle now. Something like that.
That is a good one. I was too shocked. I should have done that.
Oh god, I nearly made such a big mistake. Oh god.
Hold on, let's scoop up the pieces of the bottle. Let's get a goblin. We can put a goblin in the bottle.
We're done.
She's like riffing at you and making fun of you, threatening you, and then like mid jabbering does hug you. And she's extremely warm.
Look, I don't know how to say this. I know that it was probably all just you trying to butter me up so I would make careless wishes. But it's been really nice having someone kind of emotionally in my corner when my siblings kind of weren't. And things are kind of better with them, but whether you meant it or not, it was nice, and I got something positive out of being around you, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't another person that said they were going to let you go and didn't. even if that meant not using one of the wishes.
Okay, you have to promise not to get mad at me when you regret it, though, because you're in some kind of Freudian power struggle with your siblings and your rude ass dad, and there's like another dragon who's gonna take over, and it's gonna be a whole thing if something happens to him. And there's all these fucking nuclear weapons, and like you're gonna at some point you're gonna be like, damn, I wish I had a genie, and I'm gonna be on a beach sipping a big fruity drink.
Yeah, but at least I'm not gonna be sat going, I've got a genie. Fuck! I made a wish to try and get myself out of the situation, and now my spleen is soup.
Oh, spleen soup's my favorite. I used that like 3 times.
I don't want to imagine what an organ being slop in my insides would feel like.
Oh, it's so yucky. I've poured out some folks. Let me tell you, you can get them quite liquid inside before they die.
I don't think this was a good person to let free.
I call them soupy boys.
Look, I was. My siblings probably had a point when they pointed out that I have a lot of very volatile stuff in my magic arsenal right now, and you're one less element of unpredictable chaos I might accidentally fuck things up with by not thinking things through, so... I'll just rely on the deck of cards that might make me insanely buff.
Yeah, those things are going to be quite interesting. I'm kind of glad I'm not going to be around for some of the bad ones. Maybe I'll come back. I do have a lot of scores to settle and people to kill and maim and torture and mutilate, but I bet I'll be back. Like, you're going to live for like thousands of years, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so don't hold it against me. I am going to go because I haven't been, free for a millennia, and I really want to stretch my cyclone. But I will catch you later, Doctor.
I appreciate it. And hey, if you ever feel like coming back and saying hi, I'll still be mildly distrustful that you might be pulling some shenanigans, but it'll be nice to see you.
I won't return until I have fresh shenanigans for you. They're going to be good. Oh, keep your spleen intact. I might need it when I come back. If I can't, I'm gonna be so disappointed I come back here and you're already soup inside. That's my thing.
I will keep myself as unsouped as possible.
I bet you said that to all the pretty genies.
Only the prettiest.
She blows you a kiss, which knocks over all the cardboard with its gale force winds, and then she is gone.
I really should have wished for like a slightly sturdier office room. How bad could that have gone as a wish too?
Yeah, I think goblins are already running over and reassembling it. They love it.
Thanks,
it's like
crew.
making a little mattress fort. I love them. They're wearing all these different brands. They got all the fucking Nike fit.
A rainstorm's really gotta be just a horrific traumatic event for them, right?
Yeah. I mean, prestidigitation maybe can fix it, but... Wow, I didn't see that coming. Laura and I did not discuss that previously, just for the audience's elucidation. I did not know that was going to happen.
I love that Hop is so nice about it. And meanwhile, this genie's like, I'm going to torture so many people.
Yeah, possibly. But look, I didn't know how this conversation was going to go when the episode started, but it was the conversation earlier this episode where it's like, yeah, Hop is gambling with a lot of random chance right now.
We'll see. I don't know. I literally don't know whatever's going to happen on the show. I'm as surprised as everyone else. Rex Maximus.
Okay, where are we? What's going on? All right, so in the intervening months, Rex has been, as he is wont to do, stewing and seething after the various comments from his father, his peers, his siblings, etc. So his first order of business was that he is tired of getting shit about small folk. He's a king. He's meant to rule. Something I referenced, I believe in the first Downtime, is that there are like tribes of small folk living around the general area of his lair that he considers his. He's kind of like cleared out most dangerous predators at this point after hunting them for sport and fun. And he has gone around in the intervening time period, basically saying to them, look, it's time for you to pay tribute. I'm not fucking around anymore. You're working for me now on a formalized basis. You're gonna be getting some orders. You're gonna be getting some things you need to do for me, and you're gonna do them because I'm the king. And if there's a problem with that, you can take it up with the complaints department, which would be a roiling inferno.
Yeah, jump in a big hole. So your small folk then are just the kind of dregs and exiles of the other communities, or just lone people who end up here?
The way I've always envisioned it is he is Bowser taking the goon squad, the rejects.
I think earlier in the season you said something you might do is just start kidnapping other people's small folks to add them to your kingdom.
That too, yes.
Which we saw during the Enobarbus fight when some people started trying to grab Master Humdrum, which is something we need to talk about because that character survived and is therefore going to have thoughts and opinions going forward. But before we get there, magic item update?
Yes, he gave them a task to start off with, his various underlings, and that was to retrieve for him a item of authority and power. And what they've done is gone over to a neighboring kingdom and jumped the Supreme Court Justice of this land to obtain the gavel necessary, the gavel, the symbol of authority of any judge. To return to him, which is imbued with the power to dispel magic, to overrule someone else's casts, so to speak.
Yeah, so this is like a montage of months of you kind of resigning yourself, like, okay, I gotta have some small folk, and then you send them out. Is there any like notable ones, or are they all just an indistinguishable blur to you that you kind of just make proclamations towards?
I think actually, maybe out of the three siblings, right? Like we've established that Hop cares about her small folk, but she doesn't know any of their names, right? Mm-hmm. And DiCaprio treats her small folk well, but is only really like talking to Lace on a regular basis. I think Rex is weirdly invested in his small folk in a way that he's not really internalizing like intelligently on why he's doing it, but on some level he goes, a king has to have people, ergo if these idiots die, he's not a king because there is no king without a kingdom.
Okay, so you start liking them. It's baby steps.
Like is a strong word so far. I think it's like overly protective almost. It's like what is it, like if someone stepped onto like a gang member, like a mafia's turf, and started roughing up their civilians. It's like, no, those are my people, fuck you.
Okay, those
are my idiots.
All right, so after a month of your ragtag band going out into the world, they returned with a magical gavel, which can cast dispel magic. That's good.
Correct. For what I guess for the downtime scene yet, because I think he's taken note of who has returned this to him, but they're not like beyond that. They haven't requested anything of it really yet, and he hasn't like internalized like these are the people who are going to be in charge of these. Like he's not set up his royal council yet, right? This is very in its early infancy. What he is going to do, and it disgusts him deeply, is play the political game with Enobarbus and Humdrum.
Okie dokie. Yeah, all of those characters survived that first arc there, so they're all still in the world having thoughts and opinions. So if you want to go back to Enobarbus's mountain, you will find him. He's carving a large crystal jutting out of the peak into some sort of transmitter station or something. You probably don't even understand even slightly what's going on there. But Master Humdrum Deepbreath, the dwarf, and a gray dwarf known as Safety Certificus are there, kind of like an honor guard flanking Enobarbus, who is carving the big crystal with his giant chameleon-like claws. To what end you do not know as you approach.
I will note, Rex does not know that Grey Dwarf went by safety certificates. I think only, what is it, DiCaprio knew that. And if I remember right, safety certificates, according to my notes, shows up as a Grey Dwarf. This isn't a real dragon, something up.
You don't, something up is fun. I will say that, DiCaprio tricked him into believing that the coat was more valuable than it was, and then you saw him put it on Enobarbus's shoulders when he turned into a dwarf briefly. So that was the intended gift recipient there. But right now, when you walk up to Enobarbus, this Grey Dwarf and Master Humdrum are just kind of there, like top advisors, Grand Vizier types, watching the Great Dragon work.
Rex is coming up in like his full dragon form, right? But he's very notably not in like an aggressive stance. And he like sort of touches down a ways away and then walks up. He's not trying to disturb the work. He is making a concerted effort as best he can to not be intrusive as a gigantic adult dragon that is almost eternally on fire.
Sure. That's probably important to note because you are a terrifying force even under normal circumstances. That they obviously see you coming and turn to look at you. Master Humdrum obviously has the great tower shield with the dwarven face on it that you covet so much. Ready and waiting. You know it is seemingly completely invincible. So if you did attack, there would be consequences.
Mm-hmm. Rex will sort of give like a bit of a kingly bow. I guess it like a horse bow. I guess since he's a dragon, they do that dressage type thing.
Sure.
And try to hail Enobarbus and get his attention.
Yep, he turns slowly to you, his skin cycling through a number of colors, probably from the cool greens to more alarmed reds and purples, and then maybe back somewhere in between as you make yourself known socially instead of physically. And he says, "This is an audacious move, son of Orlando, to return so soon."
I do apologize. What is the word? Politics are not my strong suit.
Understandable. You are very young. However, you are entitled, under the GLADYS Accords, to inspect my hoard, and you within your rights. So, I can bear you no ill will.
I will be to the point. I'm not my sisters. I do not like to dance around meanings and plot in the dark. I'm here to, I suppose, make this situation whole. I had no interest in disturbing your home. I had no interest in fighting you, although I did enjoy it, I will not lie. But that duty was thrust upon me. And I do appreciate our history together, so I think it is, I guess as DiCaprio would say, imperative that I reaffirm our bonds. I don't mean to sound irritated, I just get annoyed when I think about how she talks about these things.
Your family is interesting. I would have killed 2 of you, but 3 was too much. There is no shame in this. My honor is satisfied, and for every magic item you take, 2 more are brought to me by my loyal subjects. What harm is there to be repaired besides the indignity you have inflicted on your master? And he gestures down to Master Humdrum with the tower shield. It's almost more humiliating to say apologize to the dwarf than to me, the giant fucking dragon.
Very well. Master Humdrum, like dripping like bits of fire from his mouth, cinders rolling out off of his tongue. I do. And he's almost like gagging on the words. Like he has to hit his chest a little bit to fight down the, I guess, literal heartburn of apologizing to his eternal rival. Apologize. How can I make it whole?
Yeah, Master Humdrum Deepbreath. She seems quite satisfied by this display, not hiding the shit-eating grin. She's known you for a long time, but she is also getting quite up there in years, even for a dwarf. And she says, I was thinking about training your sister when she asked to be my apprentice, but then she tried to grab me with terrible claws, so I do not know if that is a path forward. I would like to pass on my skills to people with more magic than my brethren. She gestures around at the other dwarves.
I think my sister at the end of the day is more interested in your master works than your actual skills.
As she should be. They are quite impressive. But time is running short if anyone wants to learn from me.
I have been making changes in my home, and I know you've already trained most of your subordinates here. While I am loath to ask a favor of someone so much more skilled than me, as he vomits out fire again, taking psychic damage, they could use your expertise to better serve me.
Enobarbus leans down and says, it sounds as though you have disdain for your role as enforcer of the GLADYS Accords. What are your motivations? We cannot accept any plotting which would anger your father.
I do not enjoy the strictures of the Accords. I think they are a farce. I think my father is well within his rights to set whatever rules he so decides and instruct us to enforce them. And I will do my role accordingly. That said, he has also told me to plot and plan and politic.
Yeah, I don't know how clear that was from the argument you had with him, where he said either you needed to keep the nuke secret or share it with your sisters immediately. The thing he was mad about was that basically you got caught because it just makes you look like not a intelligent, smooth operator. So. Yeah, just between me and you, getting clarity on what your frustration is. It's that you want to act more, or you want to be less like subtle or more subtle, I guess. Which he's pushing you to do either.
Yeah, I think Rex's problem is that, again, at the end of the day, he doesn't like the idea of like the rules being set forth, and then the only actual irritation is that he didn't get away with breaking the rules, right? So if he views everything in the world as like a contest, right? He views his rivalry with Humdrum as like his biggest failure because he failed to beat someone else. And he's now being told by his father that he is not competing in this contest correctly. And everyone's telling him he's doing it wrong. So some part of him, as much as he hates it, has decided to go, all right, I'll win your fucking fight. I'll be underhanded. I'll play your games.
Sure. So yeah, Enobarbus tells you that he doesn't want to directly become a anti-GLADYS Accords activist, because obviously there are dragons who don't appreciate that. It's kind of humiliating having someone else look through your stuff. These people are very prideful, very egotistical. So he doesn't love it, but also going against your dad is not advisable. He's very big and scary. So Enobarbus says, perhaps I can help you, but it would need to be subtle.
Considering you can turn invisible, you are pretty subtle.
Yes, it is one of my best features. Besides my beautiful eyes, of course.
Yeah, you got me there. Truly astonishing.
Safety certificate, ? Shoots him a look.
Have we actually had Enobarbus say what his view of the Accords is, besides that he doesn't want to go against Orlando?
I think earlier in this conversation, I had him say that it's annoying, but for every item that gets taken, he can get 2 more. So it's like a minor irritation. He's not ready to go to war over it. It's just, it's like paying taxes for most people, where you're like, oh fuck, all right.
I think Rex will say this. I understand why my father thinks the Accords are important conceptually. I understand that it enforces peace to an extent. There are 2,000 dragons in the Cookie Mountains. That's not a lot, and it's a small area. Is my father enforcing this because he thinks it's the best way forward for our people? Or are we just another set of animals on his preserve?
You are too young to remember this, but dragons once teetered on the brink of extinction. 2,000 was maybe most of all that existed before the GLADYS Accords changed how we relate to each other. I would not dismiss them so easily. But if you are looking to make your own way and your own rules, you could keep an eye out for people who feel like you do. I do not know how many there are, but they are out there.
I want to see our kind back to the height of our power. 2,000 might not be a lot, and it may be more than what we once were before I was around. But the Cookie Mountains are finite and getting more claustrophobic by the day.
Rex is like, build the wall.
No, Rex is saying, invade all the other biomes.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's good. I think that dovetails well with like the season 9 themes where he made paradises for every species. And it's like, yeah, but I won't actually want more than a perfect paradise. What about everything?
Well, this was something I thought about when I was originally writing the stuff for the dragon biome, right? Mm-hmm. Dragons are incredibly territorial.
Yeah.
And shoving them all into a really tight area is eventually going to start causing some issues.
Yep, that is what I think the season is going to be about. Is everyone can have pretty much everything they want, but it's never enough. You roll over whole communities. You have untold riches. You can shape reality to your whim, and you still want more. Enobarbus is open to that, but he's not there. Let me say, there are dragons out there who are like hardline anti-GLADYS Accords people. If you want to go in that direction, if you want to join the resistance or anything like that, so that is like what I'm flagging in this conversation.
Yeah, I guess Rex's actual official stance is that there probably are items that should be destroyed for dragon safety. What he really hates is the idea of duplicating them.
Yeah.
And I think he'll just kind of finish this off and say, look at Humdrum and say, it would disgust me to see 1,000 copies of your masterwork strewn about this land like stones on a riverbed.
Yes, this would be an insult to the art. I agree. If you want to know all of the secrets that you failed to master when you were my pupil, there's only a short time left, Rex Maximus. What are you willing to commit to?
I think Rex will sort of sigh, reluctantly transform into his human form and go, I have time.
Yeah, so are you going to work with Enobarbus and Master Humdrum? I know that is not ideal for your pride, but if that's where you want to go, then you can definitely do that.
I think if it was anyone else, he wouldn't be able... I think the fact that, A, this isn't his family, because he's not willing to admit to DiCaprio, yeah, I actually need help. And the fact that this is like an existing relationship outside of that, he is willing to do this. If it was like, if this was just some other dragon that they invaded and he just met, there's no fucking way he'd ever even consider this. So yeah, he's committing to it. He's going to once again reaffirm his disgusting position as a student.